What's up, guys? It's been a minute. I was very excited to do this live, and we haven't talked in a minute. Hope you guys have been having wonderful weekends. For me, my side, it's been all good. Yeah, we recently had a situation where the channel had to go underground for a few hours, 12 hours max. And I was a bit worried when I got back on because it looked like we didn't have visibility again. So it was almost like starting back. As a matter of fact, certain videos lost comments and whatnot and stuff like that. And the channel was hidden, not even the thing. And so this live stream, I'm putting it out. I know that might not reach all the people that normally come through for the live streams. Yeah, but just that short space of being off was it impacted the channel. So then I just did like a cross check analysis on channels that are similar to mine, channels that do the same lane of content, and I kind of realized that there was also an issue with their channels. So they were also seemed like notifications were not going through. I'm subscribed to Being Real George, and I just crazy as I wasn't getting notification from those channels as well. So I was like, okay, it's a YouTube thing. And so mostly that happens when they purging subscribers or when they're checking the people that are still active and stuff. So that's that. And yeah, but I'm kind of trying to sort when exactly are the most people back on. And so a video will go up, you might not get notification. It's kind of like the thing the last few days. So that's not sorted yet. It's not fully yet sorted, but we pretty much have a good position on that one, on the issue of the channel going down. Now today, I wanted us to talk about signs of the end times. I think there's a lot. There's a lot that's been happening over the last 2 weeks or so. Just a lot that I wanted to get us back into talking about. First, I saw a video from Uber Angel. I'm still thinking of whether I should do it as this individual video or not, where Uber Angel is mentioning that singing the happy birthday song is a demonic thing. And I just kind of like saw it within the same lane, but maybe we'll talk about it on a different one. I saw that video and I was like, why? Why? It's like there's nothing else to talk about now. We're now just talking about birthday. People saying happy birthday to you. That's demonic. Just gets ridiculous after that. But if you remember the video that we made about the Lazarus tomb being found, it was that it's self-authentication. Okay, it authenticates them. So they look for many different ways in order to authenticate themselves. And these type of things where they have topics which are just meaningless things, it's a way of authenticating themselves. I also saw another video, and so that question, if you saw that video from Uber Angel's channel saying happy birthday song is demonic and whatnot, I'm like, dude, relax, it ain't that deep. I mean, like, even if you do your research on the happy birthday song, it's a 1900s song. He tries to plug it all the way into Pharaoh and whatnot. But maybe I'll do an individual video about that, explaining that part. Because that's a ridiculous claim. That's so ridiculous. And people in there were like, oh my God. People were shocked. And I'm like, dude, relax. Okay, this is my birthday month, the 18th. Okay, I'll be people singing happy birthday. Yeah, I'm taking that. It's not, it is not that, but again, as I stated, it is self-authentication. That's how false prophets authenticate themselves. It's in areas where there is absolutely nothing. They look for anything to validate themselves. And so when I saw that video, it was just a confirmation for that. The thing that, what's his name, Ketleres was saying when he was on that show with Solomon and Shams, when he said, God utwele, God utwele. That's another self-authentication. It has nothing to do with whether did he get a message from God or is it clear to him, what did he see. Because even if you were to ask him how ritual rites are done, how does he credit the dying of Jesus as a sacrifice of empowerment to God in that? How is it ritual in that sense of evil? Because remember, Uktwala, it's not a good thing, right? So he's saying God is involved in something evil and wicked. That's absolutely, but what? Guess what? That's another sign of the times, is that these people are coming out openly declaring themselves, and they are showing the signs of the end time. You now have evil men on the pulpit who are going to do anything to authenticate themselves. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with God, whatnot. And you might also remember that video which we made on Bushiri, when his lawyers went into court and they were debating that the people that are accusing him, they should come to Malawi, right? And then the court turned that down at first. They were like, oh no, we are in agreement. And that was the same question we asked again. How are you against and for at the same time? It's that thing. It's self-authentication. They only agree with what agrees with them. And so these particular two thingy are a sign of the things that you are seeing in the modern day. And unfortunately, the people that follow these things keep looking for signs to validate. And so these type of things, they valid. Like when a person says, yeah, the happy birthday song is demonic, because you are empty. Oh, auna luto la. You are in lack upstairs. Auna luto. You buy it. You just take it. Yeah, it must be. And his excuse is that it's in threes. It's like it rhymes in threes. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. So he says, yeah, you see, they do it in threes. When you're doing ritual, you do it in threes. And I'm like, dude, relax. It's just harmonies. The happy birthday is just harmony. Okay? The scales. What are scales in? Is it threes? Yeah. And so people would divorce themselves from the thing they know. You know very well it's scales. But no, it doesn't become about scales. It becomes about something more. And I'm not saying there is no evil music. I've shown examples of music that is evil. His excuse, it's pretty much a Jehovah's Witness excuse. You know, Jehovah's Witness, they don't do happy birthdays and stuff like that. Like you are taking the glory from God. No, we are celebrating your life. We are reminding you of the value that is your life. It doesn't say you are getting old, it doesn't say you are getting young, it doesn't say you are still young. It doesn't say any of that. It's the value of life. That's why when we end, you know, we say, may you grow to the age of an elephant, like in Venda. I don't know how they say it. I can't remember exactly. But we wish you to get older. Why? Grace. It has nothing to do with occultism or anything. But why does he make it about that? Self-authentication. So I saw another particular thing again. That was also quite an interesting one. The story that we spoke about very recently of the guy where this particular prophet who went, got people to fast, and people died from starvation. And there was a report that came out giving an update on that after they found that it was over 100 people and stuff like that. There was something they mentioned, which I found quite interesting. They said some of the people looked like they were they were killed. It wasn't like it was voluntary for everybody. It looked like there were people that were killed. And so they were forced into this act, basically. And when they mentioned that, just a sec, I want to put this thing off. When they mentioned that some people looked like they were killed or some stuff like that, it was all in authentication of the man. It was for him to keep validating himself, to find validation for himself. So this issue of self-validation, they would rather, if I was them, I would just rather concede and say, you know what, I have issues myself. Authenticity is not found in me, and just back it off and find ground for truth. But they don't do that. False prophets don't do that. They don't know how to do that. There's another one right now that's playing manipulation tricks. He's trying to intimidate on a certain story that we were doing and stuff like that. That's it. Self-authentication. It has nothing to do with thingy. Sometimes I prefer not to talk about these people, not to give them validation, because they seek validation. They do so to seek validation. The more you talk about them, that's why there are stories I don't do here. You might have noticed there are people I don't talk about. I've explained why. The Bible, I showed Bible references for why I don't talk about this person. Like recently, there was one guy who was doing, I didn't talk about it. I just left it. Why? Validation. The more we talk about him, we are giving him validation. He feeds off of validation from people. It's a false prophet of core, hardcore false prophet. He's not convicted. He can say what conviction sounds like. He can tell us what it sounds like. He can talk about authenticity all he likes, but he does not know God. And how do you see it? Self-validation. It's when people say, that's when he's happy. That's childish. If I came here just to have you guys clap for me, I'm a failure. That's a failure in ministry. That's failure in ministry. The goal of a man of God, a preacher, or a person who prophesies, by prophesy I mean speaking of the word of God, the duty of the man then is simple: to keep declaring the word of God as clear as it is. If someone doesn't like it, they'll go deal with themselves, they'll come back. I'm not here to shake hands. Aibo, dingena happy up. Where do I feed? I don't have enough friends. I don't have enough friends. I must be going around online shaking people's hands. Like last, I told you guys about a family member. As a family member that's from the ZCC, they are from ZCC on the site. So they get very angry every time I post a ZCC video. That's when they respond. So I asked one day, I say, I post almost 50 to 60 videos a month. You respond only when I post about ZCC. Don't you think something is wrong with you? When the other ones are thinking, you don't say nothing. When I talk about this one, because you are there, that's when you respond. You'll be saying, oh, don't talk about my church. Don't watch. I didn't come here to check on you, and I didn't come here to suit your emotions. I talk about a church where family members are there. Yeah, I didn't come here to brush them up. And no. That's not my duty. My duty is to portray the word of God as clear as it is. So if family members are there and I'm talking about that church and I say this church is evil, you think someone I don't know, you think relax. Take a chill pill. Take a chill pill. Yeah, I have family members in this other church. Whenever I hit that church, they come here boiling hot. I have a responsibility. My responsibility is to keep the truth up here. The truth is up here. It's higher than myself. The truth is here. The standard of truth is here. I'm not here to suit people's emotion. Then what? Every time I post about that church, she's there. On the WhatsApp ministry thing. She doesn't have my personal number. On the ministry's WhatsApp, she's there. Hey, you, they will be with you. I say, okay. You want me to do what with that? Someone will bewitch me. So I must do what with that? Why? Because they are so corrupted with witchcraft. They are so strapped into fear. The Bible says, "Perfect love casteth out fear." My love to cause a person to be brought to redemption exceeds the fear of what would happen. No, it's the last thought. It's not even number one. But she is so taken up by this type of things. You see this all the time. So personally, I don't talk about this thing. It's different. Yeah. If we talked about it, if I ended up talking about them, because it will just be that, people get used to be talked about. Then they become, they feel, it's so good. So good. There are people here that have watched this channel for years. They don't even know my real name. Yeah, there are people that don't even know my real name. They don't know. They don't know my real name till date. So what about people that know my real name? I know. So I just don't talk about those things. I don't want to give them attention. There are certain people that are hindering, that try to hinder us from the goal. The goal is to reach the person who's manipulated. I don't have a church that I'm drawing you to. I didn't say come to address number what church. Yeah, dear who are there. It's happening. You will see miracles. I never called you to any church like that. I'm not here for those games. The goal is this standard. It's up here. Truth is up here. We're all reaching up. And as we reach up, you forget, man. In the process of reaching up towards truth, you forget, man. Recently, there was a guy who resigned from Google AI. He was working with Google AI, and he recently resigned. And the reason why he resigned is that Google's investments lately involve a lot of this new technology, AI technology. And it's what he said about the technology that fascinated me. He said the problem with this new AI that they're now bringing up is that the aim of it is to not allow the person to determine what is right, what is true, and what is false. Like when we spoke about the AI that can generate videos and manipulate a person's voice to sound exactly like another person and stuff like that, is that there will be a day and age where you won't be able to tell what is true and what is false. And he quit. He resigned from his job. He said he cannot take part in a job like that. That is contributing towards the destruction of mankind. And I think when people invent this thing, they're not thinking that far. They are thinking of, we'll do this good up with it. The same way when, what is it, Einstein, when he was doing this calculation that was EMC plus what squared, that thing, he didn't think that math thing that he put up, he didn't think that thing would be used to generate dangerous weapons. He didn't think of that. He just thought, this is a good thingy. It's math. It makes sense. What. Then they looked at it and said, yeah, but this is how you create a bomb. And by so doing, boom, just like that, they started creating bigger, to a point where the world has to seize all the most dangerous bombs in the world. South Africa had capability of doing some of them, the atomic, what. They seized them after, or they handed them over after the ANC entered into office. So these people, when they invent, they don't think of that. Now, this entire AI technology of machine learning and having the capability of creating entire thingy, like recently me and Tamara made this other video. I'll post it. I keep saying I'll post it this week. I'll post it this week. I forget because the video is a bit lengthy and the laptop edits very slow. And so we shot this video kind of showcasing the new technologies and stuff like that. In seconds, it responds in seconds. just like that. And these things have been just coming out over the last 5 years. But the way they are now rapidly going, after they put out this platform called Chat GTP, is it GTP or whatever? It has given other platforms ideas on how to evolve other mediums like video, audio, and all this kind of thing. So people in that space, in the tech space, they are also seeing it's getting dangerous now, where we can't tell the real from the true. Now, take that for example, and look at recently we had a satanic conference in Boston. There were other videos that I didn't play. I only played the news segment on yesterday's video, but there was a ceremony where they were actually, wait, let me see. Can I find that thing? Hey Anna, how are you doing? God bless leadershiping. Maggie, hi, how are you? Wonderful seeing you. Let me see if I can find this video. I saw it, I think, on Facebook. I know I didn't see it on TikTok. I'm not on that platform. That's not a nice platform to be on. That's a very weird platform for me. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see if I can find that video. Yeah, Living Truth posted the video just to show you. Yeah, Living Truth shared the video. Let me just show you this thing and you'll see what I'm talking about. That there were more videos that were more graphic to show you the time in which we are living in. And so they went as far, actually, I only talked about the news segment one. If you go, don't want not important. Okay, let me see here. So this lady, right in the middle of it, she's sharing out the Bible. That's part of the event there, okay? And she said that the Bible is a tool of oppression. You can see her here. This is her. She was there at the satanic conference thingy that they had and stuff. And then she went on to tear up the Bible. She said it was a tool of Satanism, and it was a tool of enslavement. Now, if you guys remember, not long ago, there was also this. We spoke about it. We spoke about this video that you see here on Radio Khosheletsane on the top. We made a commentary on it, and basically they took the Bible. They were also banning the Bible in that ceremony. People are now bold to doing that and stuff like that. Now, I also want to give an update on the story. I just received more update on that story. Okay, this which way is it? Is it this way? Yes. I received an update on the story. Somebody forwarded me some information about it, more on who was doing this. So it will shock you on who was there and whatnot. But I'm gonna come back and I'll do an update this week on the story, because yeah, when they told me, I was like, wow, this is crazy. And so people are becoming bold, like extremely bold in claiming their wickedness. Their fight against God is becoming more open, as you might actually put it. Chingy says, good evening, leadership. We are using some of writing tools. Yes, definitely. Chat GPT is good if you are doing reports and stuff like that, and stuff. I was talking to somebody, they have to write like this reports and stuff like that. I was like, just tell this thing what to write, where, what not, and it does a good job at doing that. You know, it's technology. It's good, but the weird is like wow. At work, but I fear what will happen in our jobs if in the future. Yeah, it might downsize them, as you are saying. So downsize AI for making, yeah, it will definitely downsize the thing, because that these tools can make research that a human will take a week to find in an hour. You can literally have all the information. um, a few days back, I think about a week ago, I tried even writing a script and telling it what script it must write. And it wrote the script. And it was just like, wow, yeah, this thing can do, it will retire a lot of people. And remember, people were being told, yeah, IT jobs are the jobs to go to. Now these things are writing code. So it's, in this modern world, I'm telling you, you just have to keep learning skills. Okay, we thought when we go to school, that's it. We have to keep upgrading ourselves. We have to keep upgrading ourselves, learn new skills and stuff like, because yo, Jesus. And so let's be alert to that. For me, I saw this 10 years ago. For me, if you remember my testimony to how I started doing YouTube and stuff, that's exactly what I stated, is that I realized that in the workplace, in this particular lane, I just don't stand a chance there. I might be more resourceful if I find something else and stuff like that. And so we have to keep up advancing and working at ourselves. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm working on my other skills. That's why this week I had a lot of challenges with being consistently posting all videos, is because I am learning other skills that have worked, like they consistently have worked. And in future, maybe we might talk about that. But I'm learning other skills that not necessarily learning. I'm more sharpening those skills that I have in other places, because you never know. You never know. Shalom, shalom, leadership. Blessings of the Most High. And so, right now, if you consider all the bravery that everybody is out there displaying, the Satanists are now doing conferences. In Brazil, we spoke about the entire thing that they were doing, where they were literally, that entire celebration is a celebration of life, by the way. But guess what they attributed to it? The devil. They celebrated the devil like no man's business. They were dragging a figure that looked like Jesus, and he was beating him up and down and whatnot, if you remember that entire video that we spoke about. People are becoming bold. People like Maponga, he still says he's a bishop, like out open. He still says, no, I have a degree by school right to take on a church. But doctrinally, you're not capable. So, it's doctrine that says you can preach. It's not school. It's doctrine. Doctrinally, how sound is one. And so you hear those things. Guess what? It's another sign of how bold people have become. When I hear the things that Bishop Maponga says sometimes, I'm like, why couldn't somebody rebuke that point? Like I stated in the video where we were doing the doctor, I was shocked at how many things he said that were not corrected right on spot. When he says the transubstantiation thing, I was like, wait a minute, that's not a Christian thing. And if this is why being an apologist, you can't learn one thing, you have to learn every other thing, right? And so if you're an apologist in the sense of you're an apologist when people attack the Christian faith, that's when you respond. You have to go then at the extra mile. You have to be also a polemics person. Apologetics defends, but polemics attacks, right? And by attack, we mean you go out, you learn what people believe in those faiths. And then whenever anything comes up, you know how to. If a Buddhist came to me, I know what to say. If a Muslim came to me, I know what to say. If a ZCC person came to me, I know what to say. If a Sangoma came to me and said something, I know what to say. If a Roman Catholic came to me, I know what to say. So the people that I'm likely to interact with, I have answers. If a Mormon came to me, if a Jehovah's Witness came to me, if a Seventh-day Adventist came to me, if anybody tried to convert me to their views, I already have answers for all this. For all this stuff, I have questions to read, packed up in my mind. If you're a person is a Jehovah's Witness, I have a question about that book that is given to the leaders. Ask them, have they ever read the book? Why does the book prevent victims from churches, and it perpetrates a certain image of the people that are doing the wrong? If a person came to me, so you see, I have answers for all these things. When he said the transubstantiation thing, he said, oh yeah, the transubstantiation doctrine where Christians are taking on the blood and the thing. And I'm like, no, do these people know what transubstantiation is? Transubstantiation is not just the bread and the wine. No. Transubstantiation, according to Catholicism, teaches that the blood, the wine and the bread are literally the blood and bread of Jesus. Literally, like it's literally. And as the priest does that ritual for us receiving bread and wine, the Bible says you do them in remembrance. It doesn't say they are the literal bread and wine. So transubstantiation is a very foul doctrine. It puts Jesus back on the cross again. And again, which is why the priest and the Pope hold a title in the Latin. It's called Vicarius Filii Dei. If a Catholic came to me, he will have to answer. If you're trying to convert me to Catholicism, he will have to answer to me, excuse me, what is Vicarius Filii Dei? It's Latin, it has nothing to do with, yeah, but the Pope wears it, wears Vicarius Filii Dei on his thingy. Let me show you that. Let me show you that. Let me show it. So we ought to arm ourselves at all times, because these things, they go unnoticed. Right now, we ought to be always ready. And so this is the Pope right here. So this is the subject. Okay, people are translating it and whatnot. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the title itself. It's mostly on this hat. This one that is plated like this. They mostly write it on that hat. This one that the Pope wears. Let me see if I can find one which actually has it. Anyways, might be a little bit hard to find. Yeah, there it is. It appeared on a magazine, Life magazine. Vicar of Christ. That's what it means. Vicarius Filii Dei. It's a vicar of Christ, meaning in the place of Christ. That's blasphemy. Right? That's blasphemy. How can anybody be in the place of Christ? Which means you are mediator, therefore. Okay? So there's nobody. Thing is the Pope, the supreme vicar over the church. That's blasphemy. That is blasphemy. There it is, vicar of Christ in the Latin. And then they go on to kind of like break it down and whatnot and all that kind of jazz. Yeah. But the title, Vicarius Filii Dei, If a person came to me and they're Catholic, they'll have to answer, what is a vicarius filii? It's a person who's in the place of Christ. So when the priest is doing that ritual for receiving the bread and the wine, he literally is in the place of Christ. He is a vicar. He replaces Christ. That's blasphemy. And so things like that. So that's what Maponga mentioned there. So now you can see how deep that idea goes. He says one word. He said one word. Like if I was there, he was not going to get away with that. Excuse me. You think Christians believe in transubstantiation? That's not a biblical doctrine. What bishop doesn't know that? He knows it, but he uses big words, which people don't think it. When a person really goes into it, there is no, Catholics are not Christians. So why pin Christians? He's talking to born again Christians. There was no Catholic there. So why is he pinning Christians on what Catholics are doing? You see, but that's it. That's the edge. When a person doesn't know that, you can't call it out. He says it, you leave it. Me, yeah, pin you. You call yourself a bishop and you don't know the difference between the bread and how we eat the bread and the wine and transubstantiation. Excuse me, man, you gotta pause right there. Excuse me, you gotta explain that one. He said it on a public platform. So people are becoming bold against God. That was a point that, for me, don't just become an apologist. You have to become a polemics person. Polemics, you go out to learn what other people believe. And whenever they bring it up, like I stated with the point of Solomon bringing up points that they didn't mention, when they bring it up, you are ready. You know, when they bring it up, you are ready. So that's the crucial thing. We have to, let me repeat that. We have to become apologists and polemics people. Because remember, when Peter says, always be ready to give the account for the hope that is in you, he wasn't saying that to the preacher. Remember, the epistle of Peter is not the pastoral letter. It's not a pastoral letter. It is a church letter, right? You can make that excuse if you're looking at Timothy, and because Timothy is a pastoral letter. It instructs more church governance and all that. But that particular one, it's not. You know, that is not a pastoral letter. So he was saying it to everybody. He was saying we must all be ready to give an answer for the hope that is in us. And so when you have Maponga saying something like that, and he just said it, like if you go back and watch that video, thank you very much. Tsegofatso Mraudzi, a new member on the channel. Thank you very, very much. Highly appreciated. Members basically are people that support the channel, and basically it takes a certain amount. Maybe you could choose 10 brands or whatever, whatnot. I forgot the levels that it gives, but ours is less than 100 rands. It is nothing above that. It starts from 10 rands and stuff like that. So thank you very much. Highly appreciated. Members right now on this channel contributed roughly about $40 a month, like all combined. So highly appreciate. I don't take that lightly. You don't owe me a single thing, and yet you choose that. I'm highly appreciative of that. And so these things remind us to become apologists and polemics people. This thing of, we are from a nice church, we just keep it here. Bazalani, that's not how the Bible phrases it. That was what Jonah wanted to do, by the way. Okay? Dinano.
Hi, Ricky, how are you?
Leadershiping.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How are you? I'm good. I'm at work, that's why I had to close my
No
camera.
problem. No
I'm
problem.
listening and I'm enjoying the talk, man, especially the part about AI, ChatGPT, which is a subject I've been trying to delve into. You've beat me to it. I'm still planning a program on it, but well done. But you're always ahead when, because you say you've been looking into this thing. What, 5 years prior to us getting on board?
Yeah. Mm.
And
Yeah.
I've sort of become a, for lack of a better word or term, a prophet of doom, because I've been warning my colleagues here. I work in the media space full time. That guys, I work as a journalist. So I've been saying to them, guys, our job is gonna get taken over by robots. So I had a discussion with another guy who's also in the industry. He says, I was saying, look, maybe we are still a step ahead in terms of covering live events. And this guy, no, man, these things can do everything. And he gave me a scenario. He says, look, let's say there's an event, right? A live event, whatever, maybe there's a protest. And there are people who are broadcasting or taking live videos of that protest. He says, these tools have the power of taking that information, right? And then you, as a user of these AI platforms, you can just give prompts of saying, crowd shots at a particular protest today, 5 minute or 5 second long clip, and you can generate that thing. And maybe there's a guy giving a speech, maybe Uriki is there, he's giving a speech at the protest. Speech by this guy, 35 seconds long, and that thing can pull it. And all you'd have to do is probably put it together and then bring it out on your platform as if it was something that you did yourself, but you've just curated content and data from different people who are live streaming from that particular event. So it's a bit scary in terms of the jobs that are under threat. But as you say, if we upskill ourselves, if we keep abreast of what's happening, and I say, as much as there's threats or it's threatening a lot of jobs, there's also a lot of opportunities if you upskill yourself, as you've been saying. Now, on the Vicarious Philly Day, I don't know if you know this, but I think I've said it.
Before you go there, leadership, I met when I went to buy the lens thingy, I spoke about it very recently in a recent video. When I went to buy this lens, I met a photographer.
Sorry, by the way, it's looking good.
Thanks,
I
mate.
see the difference.
So I got there and there was this guy. He's a journalist, and he came there with his camera, and he was like, I don't know what to do. He's talking to the guy who's the shop owner. I don't know what to do. My gear is now no longer producing good pictures for them. They are complaining that my pictures are. I'm like, mate, phones can produce much better. Thing here, a Canon, here, what you call it? These DSLRs that don't even have video.
Okay.
And I'm like, right nowadays, and also his camera doesn't have Wi-Fi. So
Okay.
I told him, listen, if you are going to up your thingy so that you can keep up with your workmates and stuff like that, you can keep this camera. You can actually just upgrade a small little thing and then save up money. So I directed him to one of these Rebel cameras that actually have a Wi-Fi, so that when you get to the event, you can take pictures, send it over to your phone, and then send them over to your editor and so forth. He sat there, and it was as if I was telling him new information. He didn't even know there were cameras that could send pictures on thingy. And so you just reminded me of that point. Yeah, you were saying about Vicarious.
Now, before we move on to Vicarious, as Christians, we should also take things back to the Word of God, right? I don't know if I'm still Christian, but I hang around a lot of Christian people. I watch a lot of Christian content creators. There's a guy, I don't know if you've taken note of a guy called Paul Ntoba.
No, I
He's
don't
doing
know.
very well. You must look him up. He's doing a lot of YouTube shorts. I think he goes to Grace Bible Church. Anyway, the Bible talks about an increase in knowledge in the end times. I don't know, maybe you know a reference to such a scripture, but I always talk about
It's Daniel.
It's Daniel, ne? Adventists love such scriptures, by the way. People like Maponga, if he's still an Adventist. My father is an Adventist. I consider myself an Adventist, right? So the Bible talks about these things. So as Christians, we shouldn't be perplexed, amazed, because it's been said in the Bible. Knowledge will increase, but this knowledge will still get us in a fix. And there are top guys in the tech industry, like Elon Musk, who are warning us against the advancement of such a technology, AI, automation, smart, who surpass us in knowledge and smartness. As you were saying, this thing cuts down the amount of time you spend on research. Someone was doing a program right here where I work on how academics are using this thing in the academic space. And this guy says to drop his curriculum, it would take him about 4 months. He tried ChatGPT. It took him less than 3 hours to drop his whole curriculum. Anyway, it's good. It's got its positives and its negatives. Vicarious Fidei in Adventism, they say Catholics or the Roman Catholic Church is the Antichrist. And they look at, I remember this because I was so obsessed about prophecy and the end times back in the day. And they look at the name Vicarious Fidei and they break it down in terms of what Roman numerals or Roman figures mean in numbers, right? And they say when you add it up, it adds up to 666, which is that 666. But I know you look up these things and maybe you might find some mistakes in how they gathered up that thing. But I thought it was interesting. And I'm, every time I listen to you, every time I watch you, I just realize how much information you possess. And I pray that God continues to use you the right way. Don't get big-headed now, but God bless you and your ministry, and may you continue being a servant of God. I enjoy the program. I'm still here, so we are learning from you. Continue doing what you're doing. Be blessed, brother.
Thank you, leadership. Danko. I wanted to display ChatGTP capabilities here when leadership is still here. Let me lower my thingy. Highly appreciated leadership. So that I can just show. The video that I did with Tamara is actually more detailed. It's very more detailed on this. So don't worry, when that video comes out, you'll get to see. We were playing around, but I think we must actually try and do another one, and then maybe we'll play around. So this is ChatGTP. Right now, let's say, for instance, I want this thing to find me the top richest pastors. Let's say, just at the top of my head, right? Give me top richest pastors in the world. So what does it do basically? See? It goes on the internet and look at that. Look at that. It goes on the internet in less than seconds. It already has answers. This is what we meant when we were saying it does it in seconds. Okay, it's still a TV Joshua there, but you get it. Basically, and then it lists out the subject matter. You can see the things that I was researching and stuff. I was trying to see certain things with trading and stuff like that. I'm into trading, if you know, and stuff like that. And there's new opportunities in trading. I'll talk about it later on and stuff, but don't worry, I'm working on it. I'm working like a slave on it. That's why this week I've been very heavily on thinking. But anyways, so you can see here, it literally sorts out 10 people that are some of the most richest. David Oyedepo, Kenneth Copeland, Pat Robertson, Benny Hinn, and thingy coming down. I don't know how old this list is, because I know Benny Hinn is still in a lot of problems with credit and stuff like that. I think he was in a lot of trouble. There was a lot of articles about that. And so you can see it did this in seconds. And so this technology, it's crazy. Like, for instance, right now, let me think of a question. To sign up for it, I don't know if there's still a waiting process. I registered a little bit while ago, so I don't know about thingy. Let's say biography of Kenneth Copeland, right? And then there it goes. In seconds, it starts listing it out. It goes and it gets the information from everywhere, and it comes and it lists it out. And it brings all the information. Look at that. In seconds, I have an entire reach. So this is what he was talking. This is what Dino was talking about right now. That there you go. I have an article, okay, and I tell it, okay, you did good there, so I can give it feedback. So it's learning how to, what kind of information when a person asks a question like this and stuff like that. So it's getting way better and better and better. So just like that, there is an entire article on the background of thingy, and I can go a little bit more detailed. So this will be my first part of the thingy. Believers voice of victory, the history. So let me say history of Believer's Voice of Victory. That's Kenneth Copeland's entire thing, right? So basically, then I'm just showing you how long my article would be. So after talking about the biography of Kenneth Copeland, I can then go and extend a thingy about Believer's Voice of Victory. You can see the article is done. There it is. And then I can read it and make sure that it is on point. I think I've once shown this thing, this tool here, this one here, Natural Reader. You guys can see it, right? Natural Reader. And basically it can read this out for me. I do have other apps to scan. It scans and then it reads the information, especially if for a person like myself, I have a lot of things to go through and stuff like that. I literally try and use as many of these things as possible. So there's an app on Google Play that's called Scan Text, and what that thing does is that it scans the text and it reads it out for me. And so if I can read articles very, very quickly, technology is advancing. We too must also advance. You know? Yeah. If you are not planning to retire in the next few years, advance, learn new skills, get ahead, you know? Like I said, I'll be doing videos soon where I'll give an update on something else that I'm personally heavily interested in. I've been in that particular space for years. And so I know that space a lot. There's been new opportunity that came in from that side. I'm going to go over there, get me good there, then I'll come and tell you. Okay? Then come and tell you. Pastor PJ says, I came right at the right time. Leadershiping. How far? How far? I am second this time to leadership. Are you good? Started and hungry. Our new member says, it feels amazing to be part of this family. Thank you for your work you're doing. Thank you very much, leadership. Highly appreciated. Brother Patrick says, salute to the family. Yeah, and so it's very crucial we keep advancing. The end times, these signs that we see, all these things that you keep seeing, these are all signs that the end is upon us. It's a sign. These are all signs that the end is upon us. We mustn't get too comfortable, too taken up by ourselves. Don't become so luxurious in your life that you forget there is an end. There will be a day you will have to divorce your bank account. Yeah, that sounds painful. Wait until it happens. Wait until it happens. Until the day you have money in your bank. I had a trip very recently. I'm going to be doing a story time very soon. And I was just reminded of that, Basalan. I was in this place. I went to visit another country very recently. I had money in my bank account and I couldn't access it. There were no ATMs. There was nothing. We were as good as going to sleep on the street. But don't worry, story time of another day. I had money in the account and I couldn't access it because the place where I was, there was just no access. Where I was, it's a cash society there. There's a thing of cards. Card is your thing. There's none of that. It's very hard to, and I'm telling you, there you realize you'll be a millionaire and broke at the same time. And so there will be a day you may be asked, oh yeah, you want access to your money? No, we need your mark. We need to scan you. These things are coming up. Prosperity gospel is setting people up for danger because people are becoming more attached to materialism. You wear Gucci, you feel more special than us who wear no name brands. You know, it's setting people up for being willing to sell themselves over to the Antichrist. Stuff is dangerous. It's more dangerous because the more you hear about it, the more you hear about your wealth, the more you're going to church. That's the only thing you're going to pray about your business. You are not concerned about anything. You're not concerned about souls being saved. You're not concerned about nothing. The prosperity gospel is driving people into that. So yes, let's advance ourselves, but let's remember, it's not permanent, this one. It's not permanent. These are all signs of the time. If you heard Jubert Angel bragging about how he's going to sue Al Jazeera for the documentary, and I'm like, there's video of you literally saying what you were saying, and he's still sure he's sure of himself. Yeah, I'm in the right. Completely blinded how far in the wrong he is. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Even if when right is right, keep it there. Even if it's against you, the moment you foul up what right is and what wrong is, you'll find yourself in trouble. Leadership, Ezekiel says, the prosperity gospel is setting people up for danger. Profound statement. Danko leadership. You can say that again. That statement is very important because we are becoming attached. You know, it's about looks when we go to church. Have you seen pictures that they now take nowadays? That's not, it's nice. I have a friend, as I've stated, I have a friend who's loves cars. Loves cars. A car breaks down, he just forgets about it. It's this one is broken. He moves on as if it's nothing. You can have these things, love these things, but do not get attached to them. Do not get attached to these things. These things, it's not permanent, this thing. Don't let your money fool you. I have a friend, he's just recently becoming prosperous in his business and stuff like that and whatnot. And he's into the equipment, like heavy equipment stuff, hiring heavy equipment and stuff. And his business is really growing. You know, he was just an average accountant. Now he has a huge business, okay? And it's sad, man. He sent me a message, I think about it was like last month, and he was asking very sad questions. This is a guy that we used to sit, we were so passionate about preaching the gospel back in 2010, 2011. And he was now doubting, what if the Bible is man-made? What if it's fictional? I'm like, what? Money has done that to you. It's not the Bible. It has nothing to do with the Bible. It's your money. He is so distant from the Bible. This is a guy we used to, when I was doing evangelism, he was the one that was doing the material for me because he was in UJ. So if I ask him to print something, he will go print it out. I go and do the evangelism. Friend of mine, I was in Thingy. Wealth now has trapped him. I'm telling you. And every single time I answered him, he couldn't rebuttal because he knew what I was saying was true. He couldn't rebuttal for nothing. It was a sad conversation, but personally, I've learned don't get attached. So I'll rebuke him just the same way I rebuke everybody else. I say, no, man, you can't think that. You say, no, the Bible, then how do we know the Bible is valid? And I'm like, Muhammad, who is an opposition in the period when he lived 600 years after Jesus Christ, Muhammad in AD 600 confirmed that the Bible was true. He confirmed, an opposition confirmed that thing. Josephus, all these people, they confirmed the coming of the Messiah. The people that did the entire calendar thing were not Christians. And guess what? They thought it was important to have our calendar according to Jesus coming. Our calendar now is literally after Jesus coming. Anno Domini, whatever they call it. Right? Because they knew it was a significant period. It's a significant period. History does not deny thingy, but a friend of mine was there busy doubting the Bible. A person I went to, we did theology, whatnot, and stuff, was saying, no, but how do we know that they didn't manipulate it? I said, which part manipulated? They say, then he jumped. He started talking about, is Jesus black or white? And I said, what has it ever mattered when it comes to the subject matter of truth? When the Bible is talking about the gospel in Corinthians, he says, this is the message you have believed. Not that Jesus is black. He says, no, you have come to believe that Jesus rose from the dead, justified before the angels. That is the message we've come to believe, not whether he's black or white. These are subjects. Black on white, do you see that in the Bible? No. What is this? This is as politics developed. This type of segregation then came up. So people get caught up by all these things. So what? Oh, you are Venda then? Umutswana then? You are Zulu then? The Bible says this was a way of dividing things so that truth, when truth is in a certain community, it will strive. When God separated the languages, it was so that truth in its thingy would thrive. But then now we have the confusion. We get into all this politics, all this nonsense. We let confusion come from that. That one, for me, I just told him, my friend, leave that one. I told you, leave that one. When it comes to the Bible, don't play those games. That's number one. That's friend number one. Number two is a guy that I grew up with. We went to primary together. This was last month. My sister sent me screenshots. I want to show you the screenshot. Of course, you won't be able to read what the comment. You see this comment here? Yeah? Let me put it up and just show you how long this guy was an evangelist at one point. Okay? He was an evangelist at one point. So my sister sent me the screenshots right here. Okay? She sent me the first one. Look at that. The guy is writing long texts against God and why he has concluded that our religion is Christianity is not true and how it's a brainwash. Guess what? He's a doctor. He's a doctor. Success as a doctor has brought him to this thinking. Success is, he's one of those doctors that earn over 35, 40,000 rands a month and stuff like that. So success has dubbed his mind. He thinks now he's greater than was an evangelist. Guy, yeah. So my sister said, I was shocked. Did you see how recent it was? I think it was like last week or something like that. When my sister sent me, she says, I'm shocked. Look at what our friend is writing on WhatsApp and on his stories and whatnot. Success. The statement right here. Prosperity has trapped them. It has created a trap. for them. Their prosperity has created a trap by which they can't see other way. Have you ever seen people that have money? The other guy that I said he was behaving funny, he was threatening us. We did some story. Maybe sometime you will hear me talk about it, but I'm not interested right now. We spoke about this thing and we spoke about this story and whatnot. So the guy is now threatening. He says, "Yeah, he has this much amount in his account. I think he has 10 million or something. It's breaking with him. He has 10 million, so he can." And I'm like, that's so childish. That's so childish. How old is this person? Childish. You're bragging to me about money that you have in a. So that what? I'll be scared of you or what? Prosperity has created a stumbling block. Because you have a successful career, brother, my sister, calm down. Because you are the first person to buy a house in your entire family. Because all the family members come to you for help, calm down. Your success in the area of dominance where you are does not mean you have authority over all. It's grace. There are people we've known who had careers, solid careers. COVID came. Bah! What disease? A disease that didn't even come to them. A disease that was playing over there. They didn't catch it, nothing. Jeopardized their entire careers. Tell me, do you think Greyhound hired the same people? Greyhound had gone under. Completely gone under. Luckily, I saw their back and whatnot. But the entire company had died. Company that was stable there for years and years. These things are not permanent. Don't let prosperity gospel create a trap for the enemy. Because if your faith is in you having that stability that you have, or when you have a job, you have a couple of millions in Yana, you have thingy, you might never know. It's the most unlikely person that might be your rescuer in the time when the Antichrist rises. The most unlikely person, the person you are not thinking about, might be the person that says, "Hey, my brother, the city is becoming hectic. I own a farm. This is where my farm is. Come over here. We are planting. We are sorted." Is that person you are likely not thinking about. But because you are so taken by how much money you have, because you have stability right now as we are talking, you're not even thinking about money. Do not let prosperity and stability deceive you. Things are not permanent. You are a pastor. Pastors, especially pastors, I feel sorry for Mandans. As a pastor, you need grace. You need grace, great amount of grace. Because the one thing that deceives a lot of pastors, you want to know why your church is small. Your church is small because you don't have grace to carry the responsibility of a big church. The responsibility of a big church is when you have 10 people, 10, 20 employed people who are paying their tithes, 10 of them, 30, 40,000 a month from these people's tithes. And you see the tithes coming in. You'll manipulate. You start quoting verses that are not there because you've seen it. You start seeing money. You need grace for that thing. You sit there. You need grace. That's why you start wearing funny suits and then you start. Hey, now when you even talk to us, we must be bowing, and you are okay with us bowing. Why? Because you see, pride, instability. Stability is a problem. It provides this. You need grace. So this is why if you have 1,000 rand right now, if you increase the 6, if you still have 1,000 rand, be humbled at 1,000. So that when it comes, you are capable of handling. Money needs grace. You've seen what it does to people. There are people that will talk to you nice, humble. Guys, I was talking to a friend. She lost a business deal she negotiated for the person, she did what, she got the person what, she up and down, up and down. She did everything for this person. Last moment, when all paperwork was done, poof, she left. The millions entered their account. She made up a story about the other person and whatnot and cut off the other person. Wickedness. If you are not humbled, so when these people are preaching this gospel of materialism, money, what, they are creating a trap. They are creating a trap for a lot of people. That's why, look at the people that are on I Blew It. There's a show for people outside the country. There's a show on YouTube called I Blew It, where people receive money they've never expected. Boom. When it comes, they finish it in 6 months. Person gets 20 million. I saw one who received was it 20 million or something? Blew it in a matter of years. He blew the entire amount. Why? We are creating stumbling blocks. Wealth creates a stumbling block. And the funny thing is that when people talk to thingy, nobody can advise a person with money. Forget. Right now, there's someone who's saying, listen to this boy. With money will poof. These things are not permanent, my brother, my sister. The time is coming where the same bank account you have will become a stumbling block. They'll tell you, no, you don't have access to your money. You don't have the mark. You don't have the chip. You want to come into Capitec. You want to come into FNB. You want to come to what bank. No, my brother, you have to. Right now, let me give you another example. The guy for Cash App died very recently. When was it? Was it last week? Let me see. I just want to show you that the government is working on getting a hold of the finance system. Cash App. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. There it is. So you can say guy who was responsible. You see, 3 weeks ago, ne? 3 weeks ago, this guy, the founder of Cash App, dies. The next day, the government had started. The government had started an opposed program that does what Cash App was doing. Because why? They see with all the technology here is the kind that will allow us to get a hold of the finance system and stuff like that. The next day, they literally had already had thingy. So they're already working on it. Like right now, when I'm saying it, it might sound like it's too far-fetched. There will come a day where this money will not mean anything. You have 1,000, you have 100 million. No, my brother, it's fine. You know what? You just need the mark so that you can have access to your money. Until you've read Revelation chapter number 13. No. Just get the mark, then you can have access. The same way, when I was crossing one border very recently, they asked me, do you have a certificate of vaccination? I said, I don't have. I said, you. It was one of you guys there. It was one of you guys there at the border. I said, you, leadership, you go. Yeah, the person, they could have turned me back, but I don't think to where I was going, I don't think it's that much of a big deal. But they asked me about it and stuff like that. Imagine just to cross. So they would allow you to go all the way to the border. When you get to the border and they ask you this question, you don't have it, they can turn you back. The systems of this world are set traps. They are set traps for thinking. Bazalan, I think, if anything, I wanted to make this note so that people would be reminded, this is not permanent. This is not permanent. This here, being here, it's not permanent. This is not permanent. It's going to die out. It's going to fade out. Don't get too comfortable. There comes a day when all these check marks must come in place, and we'll have to answer. What is your answer then? When you have your big Mercedes Benz, when you see your seat, when it allows you to even move all the way back, you don't even have to look forward. You might even have a screen up here. These newer cars, you don't even can be sleeping and it's driving. And they tell you get to the gas station, they say, you don't have the mark. It's coming. That day is coming. All systems are in place. They are now setting up the systems in ways that it's just quite telling. Remember all these banks that are crashing. Yeah. Just another kind of hint. Right now, I'm doing a lot of negotiation in resource space, né? Like business resourcing and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that I talk to who are in the resource space. So a lot of people are saying, you know what? A lot of people out there, they are trying to back themselves financially. They're buying gold, they're buying what? They're buying to back themselves financially because of the financial system. So they can already see. So when the system reboots, what does that look like? And so let's arfinye zanda. Okay, this is not permanent. This is a reminder. Don't get too comfortable. There is a day. The Bible says, woe to them that are with children on that day, because there's no telling what people will do to sell out their kids. If you've seen 1984, 1984, the movie, kids sell out their parents, and parents sell out their kids because the child is not subscribed to the system. It's a day and age we were living in. Mazalan, just a reminder, not trying to scare you or anything. Ne? Yes. Let's just remember, this is not permanent. I know it feels, it feels like we belong and we're just going to be here forever. It's not the case. Prosperity gospel is the scam. You can say that, okay. It's like a trap for the Antichrist. I kid you not. Because you put yourself so much into building your business, and it's up there now. I saw it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I saw it when Mkovivi started. When Mkovivi started, my life was upside down and what. And the time when Mkovivi started, my life was now stable, was now becoming like this. I'm like, why is it that my life becomes stable and then life becomes upside down? I must be thinking about that and this. I could see it for myself and say, hey, you can get too comfortable. Yeah, that was 2020. By 2021, when I moved into that small studio, it was me just, let me just ditch a little bit and just have a small little something. If anything happens, it's too small, so the collapse is not big. But that's when I realized, what about a person who's a business person, a person who has built a business worth 10 million? How far do you think they will go to protect that business? Like I stated, these two friends of mine who are now, because they are wealthy, they're well, life is good, they've now denied. My friend, guy I used to go to all night prayers with, the guy I used to do evangelism with, was there telling me, but how do we know this Bible is real? And I said, my brother, don't let money go to your head, because your business is now doing well. You are now comfortable. You are now, when usually your car doesn't fill potholes. It adjusts you. Don't let wealth deceive you. Do well for your family. Do well for those that love you and those that you love. But don't let this stuff deceive you. You will see it in the small little things. How when you look at your phone, you see us with funny phones which have no names, Vivos. You are like, look at this one. Because we are now carrying iPhone with bulky eyes there. You start feeling it in small things, you will see your pride. Small, those areas where you're doing well and others seem to be, those are the areas you will see. What do you think you will do with the $3 million business? And the Antichrist rises and says, if you don't have this, we're not doing business with you. What do you think? How far will such a person go to protect that business? Do not create a trap for yourself by loving this world. The Bible says, love not the world, for all the things that are in the world is but the love of the flesh, the pride of life, and he stated them. It is the pride of life that will make a person say, no, I'm not losing my business. I'm going to protect it. Give me the mark. Let me save my business. They will sell themselves. It's not necessarily, oh yeah, I'm going to sell my soul to the devil. No, just by that, being willing to deny Jesus so that you can. Mazalan, we've said enough on this subject. Next week, we'll be going back to the subject matter we spoke about. I have not forgotten. What happens after salvation? That's the subject matter we were saying that we're going to go into. So next week, live stream, that's what we are going back to. Okay. We're going to go back into all the way from belief all the way to a Christian living the testimony of Christ. What does that look like? The journey. We're going to talk verses that actually say these things. And so if you've been studying the subject, we mentioned it like 2 weeks back. If you've been studying the subject, the second week before this one, I had an emergency meeting that I had to go through, and it was like just urgent. Like in the morning, Ricky, do, and I had to just travel out. And then last week I forgot to announce when I was going to camp and stuff like that. So it's been 2 weeks since the time when we announced that we're going to do that. So the study, if you remember when I was with Brother Kumbero on the live stream of things, we spoke about doing that study. And I think it's actually 3 weeks back, because last we then had to do the Easter one. Okay. So that's the study we are going to go into. What does it look like when a person gets saved after? Okay. Because some people say, no, you get the Holy Spirit. No, some people say you are born again. Then they must pray for you so that you get the Holy Spirit. So we need verses to validate or verify that. So that's going to be the next subject. I think we've done this one justice. Do not get attached. Like the beginning of the subject, which we mentioned, validation. The prophets, false prophets, are looking for anything to validate themselves. Anything. They keep lying to us. They say things that are not there. Some of them make up points out of nothing, out of something that should not be there. But why? Validating themselves. They don't see it is the pride of life. When Jesus was standing on thingy and he was about to jump on, he was standing on the top of the thingy, and then the devil came to him, not about to jump, my bad. The devil came to him and said, jump. Show these people the angels will carry you. What was that? Perform. The devil told Jesus, perform. That's what most of these false prophets struggle with. They get there, the devil says perform. They play a show. So they mustn't say we haven't won. Lower don't say we didn't won. Don't let pride get in the way of a good service. Don't let wealth make you so comfortable that you forget. At the end of the day, the subject matter is us being with the Lord. This stuff fades, dies. They want to take it, let them take it. They want to take it. Don't get too comfortable being here. Bazalan. I'm telling you, I saw it for myself. I was like, hey, I was very angry. Hi, why is it that so as we become stable, then life becomes upside down? Papa got the COVID. Hi, I was also a rebel for a second. Then I was like, comfortable being here. So, what does it look like for a person with wealth? Ooh, Jesus. Brother Wellington, me, I'm going. 1 hour, 30 minutes was the maximum that we were willing to go. Leadership.
Grace to you, bro. How are you doing?
Number one.
Hey,
How you doing?
how are your brothers that have fallen on the way? The money got to them.
Leadership, it's sad. It's there's nothing as sad as when a person is now an advocate for disbelief. As there's nothing as sad as that.
It is
sad to say.
heartbreaking, isn't it?
Mm.
And I guess it reduces you, Ricky, to show you that you are only a mere human, because no amount of convincing you could do to snatch them.
There's nothing. There's nothing. The guy, the doctor guy, leadership, that guy, when we went back home, I was not even that active of a Christian. He used to come and he'd be telling us of the mighty miracles that are happening in Limpopo. Hey, in this place here, there was this revival. Yeah, there. He knew like all of these things as we were just people who had left the village to go study in the city. So he was that guy, that used to always be talking about God is doing this, God is doing this. He gets a job now. He's a doctor. He earns too much money, so it's now it's completely gone.
Yeah. You see, there's a verse that we may forget. Ricky, the flesh profits nothing. The flesh you can reason, you can, in your flesh, you can walk outside one day and look at the stars and measure the stars. And then in the flesh, you can almost see that this thing is too big for it to just exist alone. Definitely God is there. But for you to actually now bow down and say, oh, wonderful is Christ, it's impossible in the flesh. They reasoned it when the time was there. Remember the four soils.
Yeah.
It tells you that development. Then when money comes, the flesh, even if you don't, have you tried to discipline the flesh? Look for something that you're addicted to. Sweets.
Yeah.
You probably, your flesh will never allow you to leave sweets, even if it's killing you. Yeah, it takes it's a reminder to you, Ricky, that what you have is not transferable. It's not even transferable to your kids.
Yeah.
No, I hate that part. Oh, God forgive me for that. When you see that you can't transfer Jesus to even your own, it's impossible. You can ask and pray, but that's as far as your lips can go. Nothing more. No. Christ picks up each of his own himself at his own time. This is why we must never lose heart. When you speak to relatives, even if they are sangomas or what, Christ is able. And him, not you, not Ricky ministry, but Christ is able. But yeah, then we begin to see that the lure of this world is too much. You can never escape it. No, it was designed that way. Why? So that Christ can have the preeminence. When we get across the line there, you don't get there and say, oh, Christ, did you see what a good job that I did as Ricky? Did you see? I could turn tables. Aye.
You don't get to do that.
No, it's robbed of you, because you would have realized, Ricky, that even your most beloved ones that you walked together, they slide and they go off, and you wonder how. But madoda besisonke la.
Yeah,
And
you know,
you're the
and
only one left.
also the guy that used to, by the way, the guy that I say I used to do the evangelism with him, and he would write me stuff. Like sometimes I would ask him for references, like because he was born again way before myself, and he would be the one that gives me the reference. He would give the verses that and stuff like that. Actually, the channel, the verse that I used to use, what out of darkness, that verse that I used to use in the beginning on the bottom of the banner. I think it's still there on the channel banner or something. That verse was him that gave me that verse, you know. And so it's quite sad that a person who knew the Bible at that level of depth. I mean, like he was also part of the what they call it in school, SCO, whatever. And for him to have fallen that far, yeah, it's quite it hits you hard, Uri. You know what? Grace has kept me.
It's heartbreaking. And then that's where you see that song Amazing Grace. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Leadership. Let's communicate it next week. Next week, I think let's go back to that study. I really want us to do that one. I think a lot of people might benefit from it. I want us to do videos that are very much topical, but it addresses the journey of a believer from conviction all the way to thinking. So that whenever we do videos, newer videos, we can have videos to reference people to say, you know what, we did a playlist about this. Please go check that playlist. And so that's why I want us to have these things. So please do prepare verses, guys, so that on the whole journey from conviction and all the way to a steady, maturing Christian. So let's do that next week so that we can let's have people have a frame of mind about where they are as a believer. Sometimes people get confused. That's why they get all into this experience type of Christianity and stuff like that. You know, I am not experiencing these feelings. And so a person starts thinking feelings mean they are saved. And so I want us to have that playlist where we can always reference people so they know at what point do you know you are saved. And so that we're going to start with that next week. So please prepare verses, so that you can just have them on a list. As I talk, you guys can be sending in the verses, and we'll add them to make an entire study. I won't remember everything. You might remember a verse that I don't remember and stuff like that. So if you are a laborer in the field, please do keep those verses. And next
before you go, Ricky, who this charlatan, we need to dissect him. The one who got your channel closed. He can't get away with that.
I'm not done with him.
I
know I'm not done with. Don't worry, leadership. We'll deal with him. I think at the moment I wanted Solomon to finish his series because Solomon was doing a series. And he was like, how? It's fascinating that he's busy attacking your channel at the same time when he just got a situation from a pastor that he was his spiritual son. So we are definitely coming to him. Well, I fear no, we don't have such.
Thank you, leadership. When you're walking on two legs in this dust earth here, you know, there's the most cheap thing that you can collect outside is dust. So you walk on dust and then suddenly you want to act like you're walking on diamonds.
No, we must rebuke him and his kind. We must rebuke him, not only him, but his kind. The people that believe that type of a mentality, the people that think Bona when they are on this earth. As we have rebuked bigger challenge, we've rebuked ZCC, we've rebuked witches. Okay, all these small little babies busy running around with twisting scriptures. We're talking about wizards, people that can send a demon, you won't sleep.
You see, they keep their faith through these shenanigans and a lot of theatrics, and they don't know that some of us have been given that free faith that you don't have to pay money for. Doesn't even look for
his money and him perish. Both him and his money perish. And so we are definitely gonna go there. I'm just giving him time. I want the channel to get back into thinking. The numbers are a little bit funny right now, and so it's not sending out all notifications. So I want to note when exactly the notifications are good. Next week you might see videos coming out in the morning and stuff like that. Don't worry, I'm testing them.
Yeah, I
The
didn't get
algorithm.
the notification. It was Give More that alerted me that you're on.
Yeah, no, greet the leadership. It's not a problem. We'll definitely go back to it.
Yeah.
Leadership in.
And pass your grace to Give More. We have a new entrance onto earth. Christ has given him a baby boy. So inkosi simkhipha amahloni.
I'll send him a
Waiting for
message.
you now, Ricky.
No problem. My marriage is first, and then the rest the Lord shall do. I'll surprise him by a message on Facebook. He doesn't know I have the information. He's here. Leadership. Leadership is here.
I can see him. He's there.
Hey, Danko Leadership, number one. I was gonna surprise him by saying, "Hey, Leadership, what is the name of the kid?" But can't Leadership is in the background.
I've been complaining the Lord has been giving Give More too much favor, and he's not giving me stuff.
No, that is actually wonderful. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you very much. $20 goes a long way. Here in South Africa, that is a day's wage.
Thank you, Sheila.
So thank you very much. Highly appreciated. It goes a very long way. Now, Basalan, let's keep it right there. Next week, please do remember, let's do that study. I want us to really pack that video with like scripture to scripture, like it must be just back to back. I've done a few, but I think I was going back again, studying some of them, and I can see, you know what, I need more depth. And so if you guys are thinking, do keep verses on, just think about your journey from conviction all the way, né? And then when we do the entire video, you have no idea how much it contributes for someone to have an entire journey thing laid out, so that people can be at rest and not be convinced otherwise by funny doctrines and stuff. Makaka, why is Makaka? Leadership, as we are going off when you are coming in. Makaka. Maka. Leadership. I don't think his network is good. Anyways, guys, let's call it quits. Next week, let's try and do that. And we'll see if we are able to finish it in one study. But I doubt. I think we might be able to go conviction to salvation. And then after that, we might further think it. But I hope we'll be able to do that. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Next week. Thank you. Highly appreciated.